The European Union's goal is to become a carbon-neutral continent by 2050. And the most concrete step taken towards this goal was the EU climate law, which came into force in 2021. And according to this law, it is aimed to reduce carbon emissions by 50 to 55% by 2030. In addition, with this law, the European Green Deal's commitment to be carbon neutral by 2050 becomes a binding obligation. Undoubtedly, the border carbon regulation is the most controversial application that will be put into effect within the Green Deal. And the EU imposes serious obligations on manufacturers within its member states to produce carbon neutral. The European Union emissions trading system, by pricing the carbon generated in production, imposes the relevant costs on generation enterprises. However, in such a case, non-EU manufacturers who are not subject to these obligations and costs gain a significant cost and competitive advantage compared to the EU manufacturers. As a natural consequence of this, EU businesses will tend to import products with a heavy carbon load from non-EU countries in order to reduce their costs. In this case, the contribution of EU countries to carbon emissions will even increase further rather than decreasing. This problem, called the carbon leak, will also contribute to the increase in global emissions. This is where the border carbon adjustment regulation comes into play. For now, there are two alternatives regarding the implementation of this regulation. The first is to apply additional taxes to the imported product according to the carbon load of the imported product with the application of carbon tax at the border. However, this situation includes issues contrary to bilateral trade agreements and World Trade Organization rules. Therefore, it remains unclear how the application will be legally established. The second alternative is to include importers in the emissions trading system and to get a carbon emission ticket for the products to enter the market within the limits set for them. In this way, it can be ensured that companies producing within the EU and companies importing are brought to the same level in terms of their competitiveness. It's not yet clear how the technical details will be resolved in both methods. However, whichever path is followed, these rules will create serious cost and competitiveness problems for producers and exporters who do not produce green products. Considering that nearly half of Turkey's foreign trade is with EU countries, it will not be difficult to predict the impact of this situation on exporters and on Turkish economy. Based on all these conditions, we see that taking responsibility for the world has become a matter of necessity, not an initiative anymore. The new capitalism, perhaps for the first time, is making its footsteps heard so clearly. I will be delighted to talk about these pressing issues in detail with you.